Hello, I am Bentham, and today we're going to play some Kerbal Space Program. We're still in post-commentary mode because this is still the footage where I forgot to switch the microphone on when I recorded it, but that is irrelevant. We've landed on the moon, and it's time to go home, and this time it's gonna work. Let's go! Yes, like right on cue-ish. So we drop those outer stages because they're of no use to us now. They've got no fuel in, and they're just the lander legs. So we drop them, and there's a small amount of explosion. Maybe we should have dropped them from higher up, and then the explosion would have been cooler and stuff, and there would have been less mess on the surface. But whatever, so we set off flying, throttle up to full, and then it's time to do a little bit of science. So we do a crew report, we transmit that, and then we do a goo report, and we keep that because transmission, value, science, loss, stuff. Rearrange those words in an order that makes sense. So if we go on almost horizontal already, well now we are horizontal because there's a big difference between taking off from Kerbin and the moon, because Kerbin has an atmosphere. You want to get out of the atmosphere as quickly as possible. You just want to get away from it because it slows you down and wastes fuel. Whereas on the moon, there is no atmosphere, so you can start going sideways as soon as you want, as long as it doesn't mean you crash back into the moon. And you can get a super low orbit, whereas in Kerbin the orbit has to be above a certain amount so that you don't get deceleration. Though in reality, the Earth's even atmosphere just gets thinner and thinner, and so there is still a small amount of deceleration, even really high up, like the International Space Station has to reboost itself every now and then because it slowly decelerates. But anyway, we've got ourselves into moon orbit easy enough, and we've still got about half of our fuel left, just a bit under. So now it's time to go home. So I set up a maneuver node and start working out the most efficient way. Moving it around and stuff, because it's a little bit confusing. Well, you have to burn towards Kerbin to go back to Kerbin, which is funny because you also need to burn towards the moon to go to the moon from a normal orbit of Kerbin. And the thing is, this is supposed to show people how you don't just burn at things to get to them, but it just so happens that burning at them gets you to them in a really confusing roundabout way. So whatever, we are actually kind of burning diagonally to it, but whatever. So I get myself in the position for the I get myself in position for the maneuver node, and then we start warping around. Though, because our orbit's so low, we can't orbit that particularly fast. So at this point, I waffle about something, and I don't know what. So you'll just have to insert waffle, unless I insert waffle. I'm waffling right now, but it was better waffle that I did. I was discussing something. Everything I said in that episode was awesome, and it was all just to an empty room. I'm an idiot. Damn it. It's actually a few days ago now that this was recorded, because I just kind of couldn't be bothered recording this bit until the day it was supposed to be out. I'm supposed to be making a backlog, and I just kind of... I'm not. I did, and then I went through it, so now I just make videos on the day. Only thing is, there's a particular video I'm trying to record which I'm having loads of trouble with at the moment. So at the moment, the third slot of my kind of video cycle is just missing. So every 3 days I'm not releasing something because I'm trying to record this video, and as soon as I've recorded it I can start a series. Well, I've already got a series filmed, I just need to edit it together, but I need a video in front of it. Well, I want a video in front of it to improve things, and I can't make it because of problems. So I'll try and deal with that, and in the meantime you'll either have nothing or I'll do something else. But anyway, we've got ourselves on an escape trajectory from the moon, and we're going to drop down to Kerbin. I'm just fine-tuning, but I go a little bit over, and so we're going to come in a little low in the atmosphere, so that we're going to be decelerating quite fast. And it looks like we'll be landing on the side. It's either sunrise or sunset. I can never remember. I worked it out in the video, but now I'm not sure. Let me think. No, I don't know. Screw it. I'm landing on a side where light and dark have both been or will be on it in quick succession. Sure, it won't even be like that when I get back. Probably. I can't remember now. I think it's pretty light when I arrive because stuff has moved. So whatever. So we're just slowly making our way down. First Kerman to leave the moon. Out of 2 who have tried. Well, they didn't really try. They got ready to try and then just dropped dead. Anyway, here we go. That looks pretty cool. with Kerbin rotating as we fly in, and then suddenly the graphics go terrible because it tries to load quicker than it can. And we get a bit of lag as everything catches up. And in we go into the atmosphere. Screaming in at over 3 kilometers a second. This is totally safe. And in a second everything will set on fire, and it will be glorious. I've left the SAS on at this point because I wasn't thinking. You want to turn it off so that you get into an aerodynamic position. Or do you? I suppose you don't exactly because you want to slow down. There we go, lots of flames, all the flames. That does look pretty cool, all the glowing and everything. And now red hot plasma is being forced into the engine nozzle at insane speeds. And it would most likely detonate the craft if this was real. But it isn't, so we're fine. And Dusky is blissfully unaware, probably, of everything going on around him. You can barely see the craft for all of the flames. So much flames. This is not a very good re-entry craft. Never descend on engines unless it's powered, and then it's probably alright. Oh, I don't know. So in we go. You may notice that we are landing on the edge of the big crater that's on Kerbin. At some point I need to actually visit the middle of that. I haven't done it yet because you have to fly to the other side of the planet if you want to use a plane. And otherwise you have to be really precise. By the way, can you hear my P's? Because I definitely can, and I'm worried that I have messed this up. I do sound tests and everything, but sometimes they just fail. So anyway, I'm getting a little bit concerned that we are going to land right in the middle of a mountain range. And I've had very bad experience with mountain ranges before now, but we have some extra fuel. So what I do is I swing us round and engage the engines. And now we're going to try and dodge mountains. And just try and land further into the crater where it's a lot more safe looking. Because I don't want to get all the way back home just to land on the side of a mountain, flip over and explode. We've come too far for that. Also, I think the space program would get cancelled at that point if every Kerbinaut was dying. I'm having to really wrestle with the controls to get it to work. The ship does not want to face this way. But we are changing direction. Still got a bit of fuel left. And it looks like we're going to be alright. So it's a good job we had all this extra fuel in. I'm not sure if we would have made it... We might have made it back if we had a half tank rather than a full tank. But when we arrived in the atmosphere, we did have less than a half the tank. Only by a tiny bit, so it could be that by putting in a half tank that weighs less than a full tank, you wouldn't need quite that as much fuel, and then it will be alright. But anyway, we managed to get ourselves clear of the mountains, and we jettisoned the engine unit and engaged the parachutes, and now we will happily descend down to our safety. And at this point I'm probably talking about something, and I don't know what I'm talking about. Also, I'm ignoring the engine unit as it drops below us because I'm an idiot, because you can watch the explosion and it's cool. Also, I don't know when the explosion happens because, well, I have the sound, I have the waveforms of the sound in front of me, but I don't have any actual sound. So, is it really that far off? That doesn't look right. No, it must explode. Apparently the explosion makes no difference to the waveforms. Yeah, there it goes. You couldn't even see it. And parachutes. Yeah. And suddenly everything goes silent according to the waveforms. So now we do a crew report, and interestingly it says we're flying above Kerbin's mountains, even though we are quite off to the side of them. And that's quite good, because I've tried to get mountain signs before from the mountains right next to the Kerbal Space Center, and I've had loads of trouble with it, because like, I've landed on what I think is the mountain, and it says it's highlands. Or I've landed on the mountain, and then immediately flipped over and died because it's a mountain. And it's ridiculously steep and everything. So anyway, we transmit that, I think, and then we warp our way down, play the radar altimeter game for a second, because this is somewhere where it actually works. We get down to 100 and we go back to normal warp speed. Because you don't want to do anything, you don't want to jolt the craft at ×4 warp, it can end very badly. Also, I deployed the other parachute. I don't know when I did that, because I can't hear anything, and I did it off screen for some reason. Quite a big one as well. And plonk. and we nearly tip over there, but we're alright. And then we do a cruel poison. It says we're on the mountain, so that's going to save us a lot of dead Kerbals later on when we're trying to get signs from the mountains. There are a few more things we'd need to do though, like goo science and the science kit science and all that, but whatever, it's fine. And at this point I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just motionless talking about something and I don't know what. And there's another few seconds of this. Oh, he moved, he's moving more, he's looking, I don't know what he's doing. Press recover, damn it. We've come back from the moon, we know this, we've done it, we succeeded, now press recover. We need that science. Okay, so we got 320 science, I do believe that says. It's hard to tell because the resolution on my preview screen isn't brilliant. But anyway, we go into the science place and start working out what we want to do. So we have a look around at the things, and we've got science labs and stuff. We decided to buy that just to finish off that particular tier of the research. And then I have a look through the various ones. That one there has the science lab, which is very good for doing things like reusable moon landers and things, where you don't have to come back home to drop off your science and things like that. We've got spaceplane parts and all sorts of structural things. And then that tab we have some RCS stuff which will be useful. And then over there we have big engines, including, interestingly, the SRB from the new NASA parts, which I wouldn't expect to be this soon in the tree, but I suppose it's something to do with the fact that SRBs are kind of unrefined and or something, I don't know. But anyway, we get the science labs. Then we looked at, we could afford to get that science, I think, but we decide it's not worth it because it's a barometer. So we get the what's it instead, the one with the solar panels, and then we have a look through, and I believe we decide on the RCS one. And I think we've still got a fair bit of science left, but not quite enough to buy something else. So that's pretty much it there. We actually managed to get to the moon. We did it. We made it to the moon. We made it back, and we've cashed in the science, and now we have loads of researchy stuff to do. So in the next episode, we will come up with something new to do. Either we'll go to the moon in a different way, or we might try going to Minmus or something like that. But whatever, I don't know what we'll do. We'll do something, and you'll find out next episode. But until then, I shall say goodbye, and see you next time.